Hey, all right. Welcome back to Bigfoot Encounters live from Bigfoot Society. Hope you're all doing well. If someone could go ahead and let me know if they can hear me in the YouTube comments, and then we'll get started. But I want to make sure that people can hear me. So, hope that you are doing good. It's great to see you all. We've got a ton of people in the chat already. I'm just waiting from the all clear from someone. Hear you. All right. Okay, let's go through the roll call here, guys. I want to shout out VK Curtis for becoming a YouTube member on this video. Thank you so much. That means that you get to see the extra members only episodes every Wednesday. You can see those being a Patreon member as well, patreon.com/Bigfoot Society. But the first person to comment today was John Boy at 6:04 p.m. Central. Way to kick it off there, John Boy. We got Chandra here. Hello. We got Miss Shroom. Hey, guys. How's it going? We got David. Good to see you, David. An episode with your story is coming out on Monday, actually, from when you called into this show a few weeks back. So great to see you. We've got Charmaine Burnside. I love that name. Yay, I'm actually going to catch a live show. Blessings and greetings from Southern West Virginia. Let's see who else we got. We got Patrick Noble. How's it going? We got Rocky Toppin, hyped. We've got Harley Owens from Bigfoot Reports and Data. That episode, my good sir, is going bonkers. So make sure you listen to that one from a few back. I cannot express my gratitude enough for you guys. Y'all have rocked tuning into my episode. It was a good one. Gene, hope you are safe and sound, my friend. A lot of people have texted me, if you know my number or if you're able to contact me, asking if I'm okay, if we're okay from the Iowa tornadoes and the Nebraska tornadoes. I just want to say we are okay. Definitely prayers, and if you can help out people in Western Iowa, there's more than a few people that are dealing with a lot of damage right now. So thanks to all who contacted me regarding that. Let's see, who else do we have in here? We've got, hey, Slay is here, YouTube channel member. I appreciate it. And awesome Patreon member. Yay, it's that time again, kids. Hello from Washington State. Great to see you, Slay, as always. We've got Sean Marie. How are you? We got Bobby Younts. Good to see you, too. Also, YouTube channel member. We got Ted Sockwell. How are you, my friend? We got Mark Heso, 1600. Shout out from Pomona, California. Jordan Creeth, oh my goodness, I messed that up. Jordan Heath from Campfire, Tales of the Strange and Unsettling podcast. I think I got it. Jordan was on Bigfoot Society a while back now, probably about a year or so ago. And we had a great chat about the Lizard Man of Scape or Swamp, I want to say it is, down South Carolina. It's been a long time. But I hope you are doing well, my friend. Guys, make sure that you check out the Campfire Tales of the Strange and Unsettling. If I messed up the name, then shame on me. But I'm pretty sure I got it, my friend. We got good old Sasquatch here. Good to see you, friend. We got Norma Benoit. Is that Benoit? I'm probably butchering that. My apologies, Norma. Hi, everyone watching from Northeast Texas. Oh, you've got some great stories from that area, I would imagine. Let's see. Getting caught up. We got a lot of people in here right now. Jordan, we had a half dozen tornadoes tear through Indiana a few weeks ago, wiped out a couple entire towns. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, my friend. Also, just so many people dealing with that right now. Prayers go out for them. And I got Jordan. Good, I got your name. Thank you. It's been a while, too long, my friend. All right, well, guys, if this is your first show, this is Bigfoot Encounters Live. My name is Jeremiah. I run a podcast. I'm the host of the podcast called Bigfoot Society, where I talk to people weekly about multiple times per week about their Bigfoot encounters. I have a podcast, and you may watch it on YouTube, where then they get to share what they've experienced with the world and it helps people to work through it, get it off their chest. There's few individuals that I've talked to recently, the episodes haven't come out yet, where, I mean, this is the first time they haven't talked about it ever. And that is very special. So what this is a live show I do every Saturday, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time every Saturday night. You guys hang out, and if you've got a Bigfoot encounter, then you are welcome to call in live. I'm going to put the info up on the screen in a minute, and it will be recorded. Right now, it's on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. It's recorded for the Bigfoot Society podcast. It'll probably be put in a future episode, and I'm just going to put some stuff here up on the screen. So in order to call in, you need to fill out the guest release form so that we can record you and then we can use your audio. So it's bit.ly / Bigfoot form. Then you can call 515-809-0165. Man, the chat is hopping tonight, my friends. Good stuff. Hey, and this is great. Harley, thank you. I shared in my group, brother. Hopefully some come your way. Guys, if you can do that too, if you can share to your groups that you're on Facebook, anywhere, get it popping so that we can get more people in here, and so we can get some people calling in with their Bigfoot encounters. So that's the thing. So it's a fun weekly show. Some weeks we have people call in like crazy. One week we went for 3 hours straight. Bigfoot encounter after Bigfoot encounter after Bigfoot encounter. Some weeks we're hanging out in the chat. We're waiting for someone to call. They call at the very last minute. You never know what you're going to get, but you're going to have a good time. Shrove Tuesday. Hello, Jeremiah. Chat is packed because of so many experiences. I like to think so. We're already almost up to 50. We're having a good time. So yeah, the phone lines, let me make sure they are open and good to go. You feel free, once you fill out the guest release form, you can call on in 515-809-0165, and we are having a good time. There's a few things going on this weekend. Let's see. The Nebraska Bigfoot Conference just ended today. That was a 2-day event. And from what I heard, it was a pretty wild time. I haven't talked to anyone that was there yet, but I've heard some great stuff. There's some good speakers. Even the guys from Flash of Beauty flew all the way out to Nebraska in order to make it. And I think they're from Oregon or Washington. So crazy stuff. Harley saying, yeah, we're all here because we know. Absolutely. And Hike with Mike is encouraging people to hit the like button, folks. That's right, guys. If you can make sure you're subscribed, hit the like button. Make sure you hit the bell icon so you don't miss out on future episodes, on future lives. Whew. All right, I'm better now. So let's see. What was the other thing? Oh, yeah. The International Cryptozoology Museum had a conference this weekend. I haven't got an update from that either. Guys, if anyone was at those conferences, feel free to call on in if you want. You can share what happened at the conferences too. But heard that was a pretty wild time. I've had a few buddies there. I had, let's see, Jeff from Strangeology was there. Vending. Alex Petikoff was there from Small Town Monsters. Let's see. Mike Famelont was there from In Search of Big Red Eye. Good stuff. So the cool thing is festivals are starting to get popping. Let me know in the comments if you are in the live chat, if you have any plans to go to any festivals this coming summer or fall. Pamela Dotson is here. Hello from Maryland. Love the crab icon. Good to see you. Myself, let's see. I am still planning on going to, well, we've got Monster Fest 2. Canton, Ohio is coming up in June. That's going to be a fabulous time. I'm doing a live podcast, a live Bigfoot Society episode. I'm going to have Justin on board for that from Cryptids of the Corn. We're going to be having a good time. So I hope to see you there. That's in Canton, Ohio. And then going to, of course, Oak Ridge. First call. Hi, this is Jeremiah.
Yeah, this is Dustin Smith.
Hey, Dustin, before we get started, were you able to fill out the guest release form?
Yes, I did.
Perfect. And I just want to make sure that the people on YouTube, the listeners, can hear you. Guys, if you can let me know if you can hear. Dustin was, right?
Yes.
All right, Dustin, we're going to wait a minute just to get that go ahead before we get going here. Yes, okay, we have the go ahead. So also, I do hear a little bit of, am I on speakerphone, Dustin?
No, you're not. I was
Okay.
just turning it. I'm watching Ancient Aliens at the moment.
Oh, yeah, dude. That's my dude. All right, cool. So you got that turned down a little bit. Awesome. That's a good show. So, okay. Well, Dustin, I'm excited that you called in. Thank you for doing that on your Saturday evening. I'm going to go ahead and give you the floor. Feel free to share any background you need to and what you've got going on, my friend.
Okay. Well, you had reached to me about contact on TikTok. I had said I had an encounter. I'm Squatch Blocker on TikTok, and so I never did get back to you. So I seen this opportunity, so I took it. My experience was in I'm not sure how to pronounce it, Kiamichi Mountains or the Washita National Forest in Oklahoma. Me and a buddy of mine were going to be the first ones to kill a Bigfoot. This was back in the early 2000s or whatever. And we went into this area, and it's very near Honeybee, where they have a festival every year down there. It's about maybe 10 minutes from there. It's on the Tallahena National Drive is where we were camping. And we had started to walk. There's a little lake there. I'm not sure the acreage of this lake, maybe a 20-acre lake or whatever. And we were walking across. We both had Mossberg shotguns, fully loaded, the whole thing. And I had a big mag light with me, like the police used to carry back in the day, those big ones. And I kicked it over, and there was a shoulder next to me standing down the bank. And on the spillway, it's kind of hard to explain of how it was. We were walking on top of the spillway kind of thing, and it was down below us. And there was 3 steps, just boom, 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 and it was gone. But when my mag light kicked over, I seen the size of that thing. And it's about 2 a.m. And we'd been there several times and never had anything. And then, but the size of it, we both dropped our guns and ran back to camp and literally slept in the car and waited till the next morning to go back to get our guns. And I never took a gun again. I was like, that's going to do absolutely no good. But it was the biggest thing I've ever seen. And I don't know, I can't say it was 8 foot, 9 foot, whatever, because it was down the hill from me. All I know is the size of the arm was bigger than any human being I've ever seen. And it was just a flash and moment of total fear of, yeah, this is wrong. And then now I've become like more of, I almost want to communicate with them now more, you know. But anyway, that was the story. There was a couple other incidences, maybe get into it another time, but I just wanted to reflect on that one.
Yeah.
And my buddy Steven, I haven't heard, he literally never spoke to me again. He never went with me in the woods again. So it was kind of weird.
So yeah, Dustin, if we could unpack this a little bit, because I apologize. There's a lot of people I talk to on TikTok. Like you would not even imagine the amount of DMs I have unanswered right now. It's pretty sad. But so I just want to clarify a few things. So you were in the east of Honubby area?
Yeah, I lived in Roland, Oklahoma. I worked in Fort Smith.
Okay.
And me and my buddy worked together, and it was the Honubia where they have the festival.
Right.
But where we were actually at is like Tallahena Drive. It's like right between Mena and it's like LaFleur County, Oklahoma. But it's where it was Cedar Lake. And it's just there's like horse trails there and stuff like that. And there had been a lot of reports there, and it was in the news there at the time. So we wanted to go check it out, and we went, and man, sure enough, they were there.
Okay.
And I got it. Yeah. But I have literally been obsessed with like Bigfoot, Sasquatch since I was like 7 years old. Is when I first seen like the legend of Boggy Creek. So had finally talked someone into going camping with me to go look for it, and yeah, it was a one-time shot.
So you went camping with your buddy with the motivation in mind that you were going to bag a specimen.
Yes, exactly. Wanted to be the first ones to do it, to prove the existence. And I mean, like I say, now my mindset is completely different. Of course, that was, around the year 2000. So complete different mindset 24 years later.
So, absolutely. And I'd love to get to that mindset change in a few minutes, but I want to sit where we are for a bit. So this was in 2000. Yeah. Now, was there anything that made you want to go out, that motivated you to take this move in 2000?
I'd always been interested, and I knew they were like sighted in the area, and then there was a news story that came across the news and was talking about this guy down around there that had them coming up on his porch.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. And he had supposedly shot one, but they never found anything. But he said he had sent stuff to the FBI in Oklahoma City, and that was like right around the bombing in Oklahoma City and stuff like that. So that made it even more interesting, kind of thing.
Okay.
Not the bombing part of it, but the fact that he had sent it to the FBI and they had done away with the evidence, basically, kind of thing.
Oh, that's really interesting. That's a part of the story I've actually never heard before. That's very interesting. But I have heard a lot about the siege at Honubby from that time frame. So that's cool. So that was like a lot of your motivation. And then you go to Cedar Lake. You and your buddy are out, and you see a creature, and you were able to see its arm. You were able to see its leg, you said?
The arm and shoulder.
Arm and shoulder.
Mainly. I mean, arm and shoulder. And I mean, some of the torso, not a lot of detail. I mean, it was dark,
Gotcha.
But, I mean, it was 2 a.m, but I literally heard it move, and I kicked the mag light over. And the mag light's the one that holds like 4 D-cell batteries, They're pretty big. The ones the cops carried at the time. Pretty bright. But not a lot of details. I just knew it wasn't a deer. I mean, I've hunted my whole life. I knew it wasn't a deer. I knew it wasn't a bear, anything like that. It was huge. And there was 3 steps, just boom, 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 and gone.
Did you get a look as to what color hair, if any?
It was definitely reddish tint.
Okay.
Reddish to blackish tint. So, I mean, it was kind of auburn, I guess I would say.
Did you get a feel as to how long the hair was on the creature?
Maybe 4 to 6.
Yeah.
4 to 6 inch long hair.
And could you get a feeling as to how high off the ground the shoulders and the arm, which you could see, were?
when we went back the next day, we were trying to figure that out
Yep.
of the way the walkway goes across that spillway and stuff, and we kind of estimated it was 4 foot. It was standing 4 foot below us, and its shoulders were about at my chest, and I'm 6 foot. So
Wow.
it was, I mean, it was decent size. It was a big one.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've seen other ones that were smaller in different spots. Like I've seen one in what's the name of that town? Sorry, I haven't been there in 20 years.
Okay.
It's Hackett. It's Hackett, Arkansas. I had seen one down there too, but it was like skinnier and was like in a garden kind of thing, taking cantaloupe. But anyway, that's a different story. I want to stay on this one because this is the one that, I mean, literally changed my life more than anything. But if I had to estimate, guess, I would say 7. And I know everybody tries to over-establish how tall they are, so there's no way it could be a human or anything. But there was literally no one else at that campground.
Sure.
I mean, we were the only ones there. It was early April, and it was still pretty crappy weather, a little bit rainy, you know. So I know there was no one else on this lake at the time because there's an RV park there now, but back at the time there was only 7 campsites on this lake, and we were the only ones there.
Gotcha.
So I know it wasn't a person or anything like that. It's just.
Was it making any sound of any kind that you heard?
No, absolutely nothing.
Okay.
It was just, as soon as I heard it move, I kicked the light over, and that's when I seen the shoulder and the arms and stuff. And it was running down the hill away from us on the spillway. But literally, like what I keep saying, the 3 steps, it just went boom, 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 gone. And
Gotcha.
it cleared. I'm 40 foot straight downhill in 3 steps.
Wow.
I mean, it was bounding out of there.
So you definitely saw the shoulder or the arm, the shoulder, and then were you also able to take a look at it when it then turned around and started bounding down the hill away from you?
At that point, once I seen the shoulder and the first move of it, how big it was, we turned the opposite direction and ran.
Okay.
Both of us just at the same time just dropped our guns and ran. Yeah, I wasn't sticking around.
I don't blame you. I haven't had the experience yet, but I don't know how I'd react. How did you feel emotionally during that time?
Initially, I guess, just shocked, but also like terrified.
Yeah. Did you have the internal thoughts about, okay, what do I think this creature is?
No, there was no doubt in my mind what I seen, but there was no thought process until like the next day.
Okay.
Of even thinking of any. It became from looking for something to I've got to get away and protect myself.
Absolutely, yeah. Just primal sense just kicked in. It sounded like self-preservation.
Yeah, pretty much.
When you
I wasn't going to go look for it
right,
at that
right.
point.
When you went back the next day and it sounded like you were at that area, you were kind of looking at stuff. Were you able to look for any tracks or anything?
The spillway is made of like limestone rock.
Okay.
Kind of. It's not soft at any point. It's a hard dam. They basically dammed up a natural spring to make this little lake.
Gotcha. Yeah. So that makes it interesting. Then you're not going to find much evidence at all. Um, did you
No.
ever look in to see if there are any other sightings in that area of, you said it was Cedar Lake, right?
Yeah, I have. I looked into like sightings on what is it, the BFRO. They have like you can look up county sightings and stuff like that.
Right.
And there's several sightings in like LaFleur County, and then like
Absolutely.
the Washita National Forest. There's a lot of sightings and stuff like that. And I can't remember exactly how many or anything like that, but there is several sightings in that area, and that's what kind of drew us to that lake to begin with, is we'd already looked it up and kind of seen how many sightings were around there, and we knew that there was a festival down there every year, and we wanted to kind of just get down around that area and see, you know.
So,
because I mean, I was already a believer. I already, you know, in my mind, like I say, since I was 7, I just knew it was real.
right.
You know, not by any proof or anything like that, but my buddy was, I mean, staunch disbeliever. He did not believe in it at all.
Yeah.
And he had lived in that area his whole life, you know, and he hunted and everything else. He goes, nah, there's nothing down there. And then after that day, he never went camping with me again. He kind of quit talking to me at work, and just, it just kind of dissolved it. He's like, just changed his life completely.
That's wild. I can't imagine that. So he was like, I wonder if he was like, if I don't talk to this guy, I don't have to accept what I saw. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I think so, honestly, because I mean, he ended up divorced a year later, and I mean, it changed his life completely.
So I have a few questions for you, and I find this fascinating, where just the mindset of a person who's like, okay, I'm going to get a specimen. So talk me through, like, how did you prepare for, like, trying to, you know, you're gonna get a specimen that is so big, and that it's probably more than one creature in the area. Like, were you prepared for that at all, or what was your mental mindset for that?
I would have to say complete dumb, because I thought it would be. I would have to say that I was going to go out there and shoot one and throw it in the back of my Isuzu Trooper and drive it down and show everybody. Kind of thing. No real thought process whatsoever.
Wow.
Yeah.
Back in the Isuzu
I mean,
Trooper.
I was going to throw it in the back of the Isuzu and head to town with it. You know, that was my thought process, and take it to a news place and prove it.
Wow. Probably.
And yeah, I didn't have a lot of thought process back then, but
I mean, probably lucky for you that you weren't able to have that, you know, able to take that shot, because it's my belief that usually, I mean, if you get to be able to do that, you're going to have to deal with more than one, is what I think is usually going to happen. But
well, that's what the more I've learned, because I've kept studying over the years on them and stuff like that, and the more you know, and once I realized, kind of, I didn't think about the fact that they moved in family packs and stuff like that back then, and now I totally believe that they move in family units. Like, if you hurt one of them, you're done. You know.
Oh yeah.
You know, they're going to protect their own, just like we would. You know. So I mean, and like I say, I'm glad we dropped and ran when we did.
Absolutely. I think the cool part of this account is that you're saying that eventually you get to the point where your entire mindset changes, and you're looking at things, it sounds like, completely different regarding this creature now.
Yeah, very, very much so.
Do you mind?
I don't know that it's instinctively aggressive or anything, but I'm glad that one ran away, and I'm glad we ran away, because the more I study and stuff like that, and I mean, I'm assuming they kind of have a breeding season like deer, and we may have been in that time. You don't know when, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if the males go like in ruts or anything like
could
that.
you imagine?
It could have been a very aggressive male around there, and that may have been a female. I don't know. You know, it could have been really bad, and I would have hated to have shot one and it been one's child or something, you know, or a teenager or something, and then the whole family be destroyed over it. I mean, and I don't know. I have a different appreciation for nature, I guess. Now it's what I'm saying. I mean, I don't hunt anymore, and it's not because I'm fear of going in the woods. I don't have the heart for it anymore.
Absolutely. So did you have any interactions with them after that took place around Cedar Lake?
The one that was in Hackett, that was in a garden. We were camping out next to a garden, me and another friend, and we kind of peeked out, and I seen one, but it was very small, and it could have been a person. I mean, like I say, it was pretty small, but I don't know why somebody would be picking cantaloupe at 11 o'clock at night. But it was kind of just picking them up and walking off, and then it would come back and pick a couple up and walk off, you know. And so I just went back to sleep. I didn't think anything about it. But it could have been, but I can't be for sure. But I think it was. I think it was a small one. And that was it. That was at Hackett. But Hackett, Arkansas is where that one was.
Were you able to see any?
No details.
No details. Okay.
Just figure.
Gotcha.
Just figure in the moonlight kind of thing. But,
gotcha. Interesting. But it sounds like if you got did it take you all the way over to, you know, some people go over to, you know, if they're discovered, they want to make sure that they launch into maybe like a conservation effort, or how would you describe what your current feeling towards them would be now?
My feeling towards them is that this is going to sound conspiracy theory weird. I think the government already knows they exist.
Yeah.
But the reason they can't admit it and can't protect them is for the trees.
It's big timber, dude.
They won't allow them to keep. They won't keep allowing them to cut timber down if they know they have a habitat.
Yep. Same
and
here.
that's just my opinion on it. If they admit it, then they're going to say, well, we can't cut any more trees down. We have to leave their habitat because they're endangered, you know. And I don't know if they're endangered. I think there's a lot of them. But I mean, if there's a breeding population, I mean, if you look at, I mean, I live in Southwest Missouri, and there's, you know, 100,000 deer hit by a car every year, and that's the only time you see them, unless you're hunting for them. You know, you really don't see a lot of deer, but there's 2.5 million deer in Missouri, and you never really see one. So, I mean, how many Sasquatches can there be in the Ozarks, down through Arkansas, Oklahoma? I mean, almost all of America is woodland.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there could be hundreds of thousands of them, you know.
Dustin, that's incredible. I'm glad that you tracked me down and you're able to call in. It was one of those where I was like, man, I hope I talk to this guy someday. That is such a wild account.
Yeah. I'm just, like I say, I'm just glad I didn't turn and pull the trigger or something like that. And something I probably would regret it for the rest of my life if I would have, you know.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
yeah.
Because the more I study on and stuff like that, I think they're way more like us than a monkey or just a wild man running around the woods or anything like that. I think they're way closer to us than we think.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I mean, there's so many accounts of people that if they get them in their scope, they can't pull the trigger because they're just not sure that it's not a human being. Like it's that close, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that even happened down in Area X in Oklahoma. I mean, you can read the account of I think it was Daryl Collier that had that issue. But yeah, it's just it's a very very interesting topic. But um, Dustin, I appreciate you calling in. Definitely keep me in the loop with anything that might happen in the future. I know the area of Missouri. I mean, the whole Missouri has Bigfoot like crazy. So please keep me in mind if you ever experience anything else down there.
Yeah. It's a pretty cool area. And if you ever have a chance to look up the Blue Man
Okay.
of the Ozarks,
All right.
the Blue Man of the Ozarks, it's near Springfield, which is about 40 miles from where I live. And it was back in the 1800s. It's an old story, but it's a pretty cool story.
Oh, all right.
How they kind of pushed them out of this area down into Arkansas, kind of thing.
Really?
They like basically did a drive to push them out.
Oh yeah, I'll definitely look that up. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's like 1840s or 1850s, something like that. I mean, it's an old story, but I mean, it's published. So, I mean, you'd be able to find it. But,
Sure. Okay. Cool.
all right.
Well, thank
Well, it
you.
was
Thank
nice
you
to
much.
finally get a hold of you.
Yeah.
It was nice to finally get a hold of you and tell you my story. So,
Dustin, thank you for calling in.
appreciate you. I appreciate what you're doing.
Thank you, sir. You have a
Thanks,
good one.
sir. You too.
Whew. Wild. Pretty much right off the bat. Dustin, what an account and what an area. Yes, thank you for calling in, Dustin. I appreciate that. More people were able to call in like Dustin. I mean, we would have it solved. Good stuff. Good stuff, Dustin. I wouldn't be surprised if we hear from him again sometime in the future, him being down in Southwest Missouri. I'm just going to double check the phone real quick. Let's see. All right. We're having a good time. That was a great first call. I'm going to go ahead and get caught up with the chat here. Just a reminder for everyone that's new, we're almost up to 80 people live. Thank you all for being here. This is Bigfoot Encounters live call-in show from Bigfoot Society. If you've got a Bigfoot encounter you'd like to share live on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, you can call in. You do need to fill out the guest release forms, bit.ly/Bigfoot form. Then you can call in 515-809-0165. This will be recorded for use in a future Bigfoot Society episode, potentially, unless something weird happens with the call. All right, let's see who we got. All right, we got David Ford here. Good afternoon. Blessings, family from New Hampshire. Good to see you. Who else? John Boy is doing a little bit of a cryptid message here that I am interested in more in what it means. John Boy says, this is the time of year they come through my area here in Tennessee. John Boy, I'd love to hear more. And if you don't want to call in, you can always contact me directly at bigfootsociety@gmail.com. Let's see. All right. Hey, we got local legends Burton Moran here. Good to see you, friend. We've got Sunny74. Good to see you. Sherry's here. Good to see you. And I apologize if I skip over a name or two. Good stuff. Sonny says, first live. Well, great to have you here. I'm glad that you were able to. I know some people live in weird time zones compared to Central, so I appreciate everyone that's able to be here. Again, want to do a quick shout out to VK Curtis for becoming a YouTube member. You can become a YouTube supporting member by clicking the join button, and that anything from that goes to helping Bigfoot Society become a full-time podcast. You get access to the new members-only episodes I release every Wednesday. You can also get access to those episodes at patreon.com/the Bigfoot Society. And then there's a great, fun group of people over there. We have a good time doing stuff. You join today, and you definitely be in for the end of the month Google Hangout, where we all hang out and chat about Bigfoot stuff. And it was good times. Mike is here. Hello. Oh, yeah. Totally. Okay. Yeah, John Boy was on the show last week. The 2 screams I caught on the 2 different live streams were this time of year. All right. Thank you for cleaning that up. Good stuff. We got 83 people hanging out. Guys, if you've got a Bigfoot encounter, you are more than welcome to call in. Share what you've encountered. If you don't want to call in, you can always email me, bigfootsociety@gmail.com. We're having a good time going through the chat here. We got 80 people hanging out live. We heard from Dustin earlier, Cedar Lake, Oklahoma, over there by Honubby. Individual goes from wanting to take out a Bigfoot back in 2000 to now he maybe feels a little bit different about them. So it's a cool story that we heard right off the bat there. We got a lot of people hanging out here. We're having a good time. It's about 9:15 Central Standard Time. Let's see. Oh yeah, so I was sharing that. Let me take this off. Do not disturb. My bad, guys. If it's on Do Not Disturb, then I don't see calls come in. So, all right, back to it. So, I already talked about Monster Fest 2. I was about to talk about if you're in the Pacific Northwest area, in Oak Ridge, Oregon, which is about an hour southeast of Eugene, Oregon, there's going to be a fantastic multi-day festival, Sasquatch Summerfest. If you go to sasquatchsummerfest.com, you can get tickets. Excuse me. If you use code Bigfoot Society, 2 words, you can get 50% off your tickets, which is a substantial amount. And it's going to be great. There'll be food trucks there. There'll be speakers, people like Cliff Barrickman. All those guys will be there. There'll be witnesses sharing their encounters. It's camping right next to the river. Oh, wow. Yeah, anyone is more than welcome to call in for sure. Let's see. There are also hotels in the town. I know that. I will be out there, so I'm flying out to Oak Ridge from Iowa. Now, I do want to point out tomorrow's episode is an archive episode, and it's my first episode with Ronnie Roseman, which is my favorite episode of all time. And I wanted to put that out again just so people can remind themselves how crazy Oak Ridge is, all the stuff that's happened to Ronnie out there over the years. And if you're able to go to that festival, it's going to be pretty crazy. For the one reason where you take this bridge across the river from the festival, and there's these mountain bike trails, and they're going to put the Sierra Sounds on repeat for hours and hours. I personally think that's going to cause issues. I think that's potentially going to bring in some Bigfoot, because that area across the bridge, I was talking to Priscilla, who's the festival organizer. That's where a lot of the sightings in Oak Ridge are actually seen. And so you're gonna have it set up so that people are gonna be able to go walking in the woods for like a mile hike over there on the mountain biking trails, and you're gonna be playing Sierra Sounds in that area. 4 hours. I personally know what happens when you play the Sierra Sounds. I can share what happened to us in Iowa last August. We were playing the Sierra Sounds the last night we were out in our area, and I'll tell you what. I mean, we got back late from walking around in the woods, and I was in my tent. It was about 3 to 3:30 a.m. and I woke up to whoops in the woods directly in front of my tent. It felt like potentially a few hundred feet in the woods. I was freaked out. I was also like, is this really happening? Like, why is Ontario, one of the other researchers, like out in the woods doing whoops? I know. Slaya, that's the thing, right? Like, I was listening to this interview, and Ronnie said they saw four-toed prints, and I was like, holy mackerel! I totally forgot about that one detail, the four-toed Bigfoot prints, which if you have those up in Prince of Wales Island in Southeast Alaska, and also in I want to say it was in Washington State, they've been reported. I mean, it's aggressive Bigfoot encounters are usually associated with four-toed prints. Yeah, there are people in the chat. I mean, yeah, Rocky Top, and that's scary. David says, don't do it. But I think it's going to be a good time, but I'm very a lot of us are very apprehensive about what might happen. It's kind of like, it has a feeling in like, when you first heard about Jurassic Park and they're like, oh yeah, we're going to clone the dinosaurs and nothing could happen. And then T-Rex gets out of the park, right? Let's see. Josh, let's see. I had a strange encounter while hunting, but didn't see anything. Scared the crud out of me. I mean, Josh, you're more than welcome to call in. It's not required that you actually seen anything, but man, if it's a strange encounter, I'd love to hear about it. Might be able to help out another listener. So you're more than welcome. It's up to you. Mike says, I've heard of four-toed prints in Fouke. Absolutely. Oh, and to finish up, the other festival I have planned that I'm going to is the Van Meter Visitor Festival. If you're in the Midwest, it's in Van Meter, Iowa, at end of September. So I'll be vending, and also I'll be helping to run the festival. So it's usually a crazy day, but if you're aware of the Van Meter Visitor legend, it's a winged cryptid that was seen in Iowa. It terrorized a town for about a week in late September in 1903. And so it's a fun festival. There's Bigfoot guys there. There are other cryptids. Last year we had Sarah Cooper come all the way from Maryland with Snallygaster stuff. Jana J says, seen one in Mount Shasta. Jana, if you've got a Bigfoot Mount Shasta story, friend, I need to hear it. I love Mount Shasta Bigfoot stories. They are the absolute best. I'm going to encourage you to call in. If you wouldn't like to call in, that's fine. No sweat. But if you could call in and share, that would be amazing. You just have to fill out the guest release form, bit.ly/Bigfoot form, and then call 515-809-0165. But you can always call, or you can email me, bigfootsociety@gmail.com, and I'd love to talk to you about it through email as well. So no pressure, just I would love to talk to you right now. No pressure. Let me check the phone. People in the chat are saying, please call in, Jana. Mount Shasta is a crazy place. Mount Shasta, Mike, is wild. I mean, my episode with Luna is another favorite episode where they encountered the Bigfoot during one of their Native American ceremonies in a hot springs next to Mount Shasta. It's very crazy. John, if you did it once, you're good. So feel free, dude. Let's see. Yeah, and our Milford has an interesting thought. Without knowing what these sounds mean, why would they play them? Besides being dangerous, perhaps it could be insensitive. What if it's a grieving announcement? We don't know. Yeah, that's a good thought, Milford. Definitely, yeah. Totally. Oh yeah, Slay is reminding me. She also saw the Old Man of the Mountain, which is a um it's in it, that account was so interesting. I didn't know how to handle it. It's very interesting. But Luna was super fun. She was so much fun to talk to. All right. Checking the phone real quick. All right, just a reminder, we got 75 people hanging out here right now, hanging out in the chat. And then if anyone has a Bigfoot encounter they'd like to share more about, they can call in right now. Always welcome to bit.ly/Bigfoot form to fill out the guest release form. Then feel free to call 515-809-0165. You'll be on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram Live, recorded for the podcast, potentially shared at a later time on the podcast, depending on how the call goes. Oh, hey, David. David signed up. Ooh. I can't wait to talk to you again, David. This sounds like it's going to be awesome. Hollis Secoon is here. Late again. Well, better late than never, my friend. I'm glad you're here. We're having a good time. Let me know, anyone new in the comments, where you're from, or if you're headed to any Bigfoot. All right, here we go. Bigfoot festivals. Oh. What is going on? That's weird. What is that feedback? Dang. Hold on, whoever is calling. I have to figure out what's going on with my phone. I'm going to reconnect to the Roadcaster real quick. I apologize. All right. Here we go.
Hello.
Hi, this is Jeremiah.
Hi, this is Jaina. Actually, my name is Juliana.
Oh, hi.
Hi. Yes. So, are you on your radio now, or
Yes,
am I?
absolutely. And you said Juliana?
Yes, my name is Juliana. I
Perfect.
signed it as Jaina, but yeah. Well,
Sorry, before we get
you
started,
know,
were you able to fill out the guest release form at all?
I saw something on a live chat that showed as a guest release form, and I just click on it. I'm not sure if that what it was
Yep,
because I
that's
was
it.
driving.
That's it. Yep.
So, okay.
Okay, cool.
Mhm.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for calling in. I would love to have you share what you've experienced. So I'll go ahead and let you take it from here.
Yeah, thank you so much. Well, my experience, it's nothing amazing. Like it is amazing, but nothing like what your guests are experiencing. But since that time, I can't get that experience from my mind, and Mount Shasta keep calling me back, and I really want to go back. And on 2020, in August, late August, early September of 2020, I went to Mount Shasta with a group of people that I actually didn't know. I met them online, as you and it was crazy with all the pandemic stuff. And the bottom line is that I connected with people online that organized trip to Mount Shasta. So basically, I was going to unknown territory. I didn't know. I knew, but whatever I heard and read was enough for me to decide to go. So we met with a group. We camped high up in a mountain, a primitive campsite, and pretty much one evening we were there for 7 nights, 7 days, 7 days, and 8 nights. And every night, middle of the night, I would just get up out of my tent to go use the primitive restroom. And it was around between 1 and 2 a.m. I came out of my tent, and just right straight in front of me, probably about 20 feet from me, it was a Sasquatch. And it was just standing next to the tree. I had a blackish silverish hair, and it just keep looking at me. It looked like it was a young Sasquatch, but it was, when I said it's night at 1 to 2 a.m. at Mount Shasta, when you're high up in the mountain, you see all the stars. You feel like you can touch everything up there, and it's super bright. So it's almost like you know what I mean? It's like super bright. So it's not like you're in the middle of pitch dark forest.
Right.
So I basically doubt myself what I saw. I question myself that I'm just imagining, because we talked to other people at a campsite who had some experiences and know way more than I do. So I kind of doubt myself when I went back in my tent. So next morning when I got up, we had probably about 35 to 40 people at the camp, and everybody was spread around. Then I heard from two other different campers that they experienced a Sasquatch that same night, and that's when I realized that I was not imagining what I saw. Um, so that's pretty much what I don't have amazing experience, like I said, like all your guests are talking about. I just saw that Sasquatch, and that was it. Nothing personally related more to it.
That is
And the
still
other
very interesting. Go ahead. Sorry.
And the other two campers next morning, one camper was in a tent like I was, and she actually freaked out because she heard a breathing, and she thought was a heavy breathing around her tent, and she thought was a Sasquatch. Next morning, there was a footprint, only one footprint, huge footprint around her tent. I didn't think of it to go where the Sasquatch where I saw it. I didn't think of it to go and look for the footprints. It didn't even cross my mind. So it was only one footprint, and like we already know, Sasquatch, they're multidimensional, so they can basically go from one dimension to another and basically go from space to space. So you don't really see them both footprints always, right? So the other camper, it was on the other side of the camp, was in a camper, like a car, and she experienced, there were few of them. She said that there were not, it wasn't only one Sasquatch, there were few of them, that they were just around her camper. So that's pretty much all. And I do remember out of 7 nights, there were one night, it was actually a full moon. I was trying to go to sleep, but a lot of people from the camp went to there's a observation place real high up in Mount Shasta where people go and look at the stars and just the different flying objects, because you see a lot of different stuff there.
Sure.
I choose to stay. I choose to stay in a tent because I just wanted to go sleep, and I heard some. I don't even know how to describe it, but there were some noises, which is not a noise. It was almost a screaming, but a beautiful, almost like a singing, but it's not. Wasn't a human, and it wasn't an animal. And I believe that was a Sasquatch singing, or not singing, but just communicating with whoever out there. I never heard anything before like that, and I was not scared. It was not scary. It was actually very beautiful.
I've heard that. I've heard recordings like that multiple times, and I will agree with you. It does sound like someone singing, almost like going up and down in pitch, and like it's a song, but you can't really understand the words. I totally agree with you.
Yeah, that's why I have a hard time explaining it. English is also my second language, so I have a hard time explaining what it was. It wasn't a screaming, but it wasn't a singing, but some sort of noise that was actually really beautiful. I never heard that before, and I would love to experience that again.
When
and since then I can. It's already 2024, and I haven't been back. But since then, I can't stop thinking of returning back. It's almost like there's a call. There's something is calling me.
A lot of people report that about that area from that I've talked to, is like they keep getting called back to that area. Do you think that's for any certain reason, or?
I don't know. I hope it is.
Right. Yeah. No, exactly.
I really don't.
Can I ask you some questions about? Sorry, yes. Go ahead. Can I ask you some questions about your sighting?
Yeah.
So you said that you saw it in the light from the stars, the moon, silverish, blackish. Do you remember any other details about what you saw, maybe height-wise or anything like that?
It was really hard. Yeah, so at middle of the night, when you are at Mount Shasta really high up, I forgot how high we were, how high that is. It was really high up. In the middle of the night, like, you don't need a torchlight. Like, unless it's cloudy, of course. But all the stars, it's just amazing. It's almost so bright that you don't need any lights, So when I saw the Sasquatch, it was standing next to the tree. So because I doubted myself at first, I thought it's a shadow from the tree maybe. But then I remember seeing the silhouette of Sasquatch and the posture, the way it standed. I can't explain it to you over the phone, but I also saw that blackish silverish color. So it's not. I know that a lot of people describe Sasquatch as dark brown or black. This was more like a black silverish, beautiful color. Sasquatch. And I think I'm not sure about a height because I was not right in front of it. You know what I mean? It was far enough that I'm not sure. I don't want to speculate, but and it was just staring at me. It was almost like when I came out of the tent. You make a lot of noise when you open the zipper.
Right. Yep.
And it's almost like I caught him in the middle of walking by, which I believe that Sasquatch is quite psychic. They can sense things, sense things. But if they are focused into some stuff, I guess that you can call them at a moment. So I believe that's what happened at a time.
Were you?
So I was surprised.
Sorry, were you able to see anything about what the face looked like? Any details there? Or?
I mean, it looked, it's covered with a hair. And I mean, I don't know. I'm not very good in describing it. I see the image in my mind, the way I see it. And I was not afraid. I was absolutely just amazed and not afraid at all. Also, obviously, because I doubted myself
Right.
at first. I thought like I'm like imagining things, but later I realized for sure I didn't. Especially that since then I can't forget that image.
Oh yeah.
It just always there. I'm sorry that I can't describe it really well, but
Oh, you're more than okay. Yeah, no problem.
yeah.
Did it look like anything you would see in a zoo, or something that you would see walking towards you down the street in the middle of the city?
No. I mean, it does look like a big gorilla, but not like gorilla. This is more humanoid features, bulky feature. You know what I mean?
Sure. As in very wide, or
wide? Yes, very wide. And I don't know, obviously, if this is a female or male, or could be even a young Sasquatch. I have no idea. But I did not experience any fear, and that's all I can tell. That I actually, since then, I just can't stop thinking of them every single day.
Wow.
Try to research more about it, and here, unfortunately, I don't listen to your show all the time. It just happened today by accident. It's not nothing but accident.
Oh, true.
I was driving and open your show, and yeah.
Oh, well, thank you for listening.
Happy that you guys, yes, thank you so much for having this show, for sure.
Yeah. Well, Juliana, I appreciate you calling in, and if you ever get back out there to Mount Shasta, which I assume you probably will if it keeps drawing you, and if you have anything else weird happen, feel free to reach out.
I am planning to go, and I definitely will. I have a group who's going there again this July, and I was invited, so I am not sure yet if I will make it, but if I do, I will definitely reach out.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for calling. And just before you go, did you try to call from a different number before I called you back?
No.
Oh, I had two people calling at the same time. All right. Well, Juliana, I appreciate you calling in.
Thank you so much. Have a good evening.
You too.
Bye.
All right. Whew. That was a wild Mount Shasta. I like that one. Even though she said, hey, it might not be too good, I was still a fan. Let me, just to make sure and watch, sometimes I pull this move and let's see. I hope this isn't Juliana again. I'll have to apologize profusely if it is.
Hello?
Hi, this is Jeremiah.
Hey, it's John Boyer.
Hey, John. Good to talk to you. How's it going?
Yeah. All right. I made a comment about this being like the time of year for them around here. That's when I caught those two screams on the two different live streams, and then another April I found some footprints on my property. But what I wanted to tell you about was, it was like 2014 or 15. I was burning some leaves, And out here where I'm at is a bunch of valleys and hills and, ridges and stuff like that. And the smoke was just kind of wandering to the to the west. And it was going down through the valleys, headed toward there's a creek back up in there. And I was sitting there, it was kind of dusky, it was sunset or whatever. And I heard this big knock on a tree. I'm talking about somebody whacked the crap out of a tree, right? And my first thought was I had a neighbor I was having problems with. And I was like, he's trying to mess with me. And then I heard a knock. It was just one knock. And it was like 200 foot up the hill. I'm like, well, how did he get up there that fast? And then I heard a knock. And it's about like 5 or 6 seconds between these knocks. It was one single knock back where I heard the first knock. And I'm like, there ain't no way that guy just ran that much distance that fast. Well, I was sitting there I was like, what's going on here? Well, then I heard 2 knocks, but they're a little more up in the woods further, right? Then I heard, it was like 5 seconds, and then I heard 3 knocks, but that was further up the woods. And then I heard 4 knocks, and then I heard 5 knocks. And then it got all the way to 8 knocks, right? Wow. And then about 5 seconds later, you hear 7 knocks. And 5 seconds later, you'd hear 6 knocks. And it was like they were communicating back till they got to the one that did the 1 knock. But they started moving around because the knocks started being in different spots. And I think what they did, they got worried about the smoke they were smelling, and they went to scope it out. That's all I can figure. But I'm telling you, I thought it was my neighbor messing with me until I realized. We're talking about like 200 foot between the knocks, and it was only like 5 or 6 seconds between the knock. And I was like, man, there ain't no way that guy just ran. He's too lazy to mess with me that bad.
John Boy, remind me the general area you're calling from.
Oh, I'm in Henderson, Tennessee. I'm really on the outskirts. I'm at Jack's Creek.
Okay.
And Jack's Creek is the creek that's pretty close to me. There's also out here, I don't know if you want to stay on the Bigfoot subject, or I could tell you something that I ran across that I found out later what it was.
Before we continue, what did we talk about last time, John Boy?
Okay, I was telling you about the first time I saw that one, and my teachers were making fun of me and stuff. I got ridiculed.
Yes. Yep. Okay, sorry. Yes, I apologize. Well,
that's fine.
So, what you experienced something else weird? You're saying?
Oh, well, yeah. I was doing a live, and this is in April, too. It's something to do with April around here. Like, here lately, my dog's been acting weird, and she won't go up in the woods where she usually does. So I live in the woods. And she's scared to go up away from the house here and there, and her hair's been standing up and stuff. So I know stuff's around, and we got stuff that it'll mimic, like, owls and stuff.
Sure.
And it's not an owl, because just from where the noises are coming from, But what I was going to say was, and this happened a couple years ago too, and it was like 1 o'clock in the morning, and I was in my shop live streaming, and I heard my dog bark, and she was in the house, but she was barking out the back window. Well, I had a 20,000 candle watt LED spotlight, so I snuck out around behind the house. And I didn't have the light on at all because, I like, keep the darkness as my cover, right? And I finally heard the direction. I heard some noise, some movement, right? I was like, all right. So I slipped on around to where I could get that spotlight and shine it on it. And when I hit that spotlight, I do not know what I saw. It looked like a cross between a greyhound and a deer that didn't have any hair on it, right? And I'm like, what in the world? And it took off running. And it was going in between my two cars on the driveway. So I sat there and I was beelining for behind the cars because it had to come out there, right? And when it came out, I was within 5 foot of it with this light shining on it. And I was realizing I did not know what I was chasing. It wasn't a dog and it wasn't a deer. Its daggum behind legs, the knees were going backwards. I don't know how to explain it. It kind of looked like a grasshopper, like. And it had, like, no ear. It had, I don't know how to explain it. Almost all right, say it's like the size of a deer, right?
Okay.
But the way its head looked, it looked like a possum. It just had black eye sockets and nothing was glowing out of them. And it didn't have any ears. And that thing, when it was running, it was going, woof, woof, woof. It was like grunting, right? And I was like, whoa, I got to stop. Because I'm still trying to figure out what I saw. And the thing went to the end of my driveway, and I have a cable across my driveway. It stopped. It ducked under the cable. And when it got on the other side of it, it just looked at me like, you know what? And then it walked off. So I told my neighbor about it, and he goes, you saw a skinwalker. I'm like, dude, what is a skin? I didn't know anything about it, right? So I Googled it, and that's what it looks like. I was like, okay, it was a skinwalker. But, that's crazy.
So that's wild. Definitely not Bigfoot, but have you seen Lord of the Rings?
No, I don't. Okay. I stopped watching movies back in the 80s.
Yeah, God, no sweat. I wonder if it was like one of those pale crawler type creatures. Can you send me an email? BigfootSociety@gmail.com, John Boy. I have a individual that might want to talk to you about that. If you'd be up for it.
I'll have to get my email straightened out. I ran out of storage.
Right. Yeah.
I've got about some.
hold on. Can I have them contact you at this phone number to talk about it? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, cool. I'll pass it on.
But that's something right there that, usually people know about something, then they go looking for it. I ran across it and then found out what it was.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't figure out, it was skinny, man. You could see it was rib bones and stuff. Yeah. And it kind of looked like a greyhound, but the back legs wasn't right on it. And I looked where it ran because I got a gravel driveway. It's a lot more sand than gravel. And it was leaving all right, how can I explain it? Not like a split hoof, but like 2 hoofs. You know what I mean? Like it had a double split. It was leaving 3
I got
things.
You. Yeah, they want to talk to you, dude.
Was that really one?
There's a person that I know that'll want to talk to you about this. She's doing research on it. Did you say this was Henderson, Tennessee?
Yeah, that's the closest big town. That's where Great Hardman University is, if you've ever heard of that.
Okay. Wow, John Boy, I'm glad that you contacted again. Yeah, because it's not Bigfoot related, but it is still very, very interesting, and I'm glad that you told me about it.
Well, out in my woods, I get all sorts of wood structures and stuff. Little teepee things, and just all sorts of crazy stuff. But yeah. Oh, I'll tell you something else I've seen around here.
All right.
I had my dog, and this is, all right. She was on top of the highest point of my property, which there's a road that runs on that ridge, right? And I was down probably, I don't know, I'll say 60 foot from her. Well, out of the corner of my eye, I caught what looked like a headlight, right? So I turned to look to see who was coming down the road, and this is daytime. And that light just went into nothing. Well, I looked, and my dog was looking exactly where that light was, too. And I've got neighbors, they talk about all these orbs they see on my property. He goes, oh, what coming over?
Wow.
So
Could be Bigfoot related, though. I mean, there's a lot of accounts with Bigfoot and orbs, John Boy, and even Bigfoot controlling orbs. I've gotten an account from Iowa.
Well,
Look out. Did they say what color they were?
I guess they're just white. That's all I've
Okay.
ever seen, like just white ones.
Just
And
white. All right.
this one dude, he used to like to walk out in the road at night and stuff and look at the stars, and he'd be in front of my property, and he'd say they're just floating around out there. I've never really seen them that much. I've caught some. I've caught what looks like, I've looked into the woods and there'd be like a round circle of distortion, like, you know, a mirage does on the road, a heat mirage,
Yeah.
and see it disappear and stuff.
Like a
And I've
portal.
taken pictures, and there's nothing physically in front of me when I'm doing it, but when I look at it, you can see, like, I mean, it looks like Bigfoots, but they're not manifest in physical form,
Right.
I guess you could say.
But you can see them when you take the photo.
Oh yeah, and then when you enhance it, you really can bring them out. And these things look like they're 15 foot tall, and there's like 4 or 5. They remind me of like ancient ones. It's just weird. I don't know.
Phew, dude, you got some stuff going on. I would say keep an eye out. I'm sure you're already keeping an eye out for stuff, but John Boy, you got some stuff going down there in
Yeah.
Tennessee for sure.
There's a black panther out here too.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, and I found its den by accident and videoed in front of it from about, I don't know, 30 feet. And I thought I heard my stomach growl, but I knew it didn't growl, so I just thought maybe it was a jet or jack brakes. But when I got home from recording, you could hear it growling the whole time. And I enhanced the video, and you can see its head.
Wow. Oh, that's wild.
And
Oh man.
that's like a quarter mile from my house toward the creek. I haven't told anybody where it's at because I don't want wildlife coming out here. I mean, it's been out here. I saw it 8 years ago,
Okay.
3 different times.
Wow.
Yeah. But look, I'm sorry I jumped off the Bigfoot subject, but there's stuff that I didn't know existed that I ran across, and I thought you might want to hear that, and about those knocks, because they were moving around out there. I could hear the knots, and they were changing positions.
And that I've heard in other accounts as well, where they kind of triangulate almost stuff. It's really weird stuff. So I'm glad you called in for sure, John Boy, to share all that.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. Well, keep in touch, brother.
I will. Thank you.
All right. Have a good night.
You too. Bye.
Whew. Tonight's kind of a wild one. Let me check my calls. All right, we did that one. All right. Hey, thank you, John Boy. We're having a good time. Yes, Leia, I'm gonna let Missy know about that one. Yeah. She would probably want to talk to John Boy. Yeah, a huge thank you to all the callers. I mean, we talked to Dustin from about his encounter near Cedar Lake. We talked to Juliana, Mount Shasta. We talked to John Boy again. He's having some weird stuff on his property. Guys, we almost have 100 people live. And, I mean, we're having a great time here. Thanks to all for hanging out. Just a reminder, this is Bigfoot Encounters Live. We've been going for about an hour and a half. If you have a Bigfoot encounter and you'd like to call in and share it live, and this will be on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, and it'll be recorded for the podcast. So you'll want to fill out the guest release form first, bit.ly/Bigfoot form. And then you can call me directly, 515-809-0165. Vito, yeah, he's pretty much talking about the raker pale crawler. There's an episode coming up more about that. That is going to be pretty interesting. it's a little departure from what I usually do with Bigfoot, but my friend Missy's got to get the word out. So thank you. Yeah, I need to be closer to the microphone. Thanks for reminding me. Guys, we're having a good time hanging out, but probably give this a few more minutes. So I'm going to say this is, if you've been waiting until the very end to call in, this is your last chance. So I say we'll give it a few more minutes. If there's anyone else there, we've got almost 100 people, 100 people watching live. If you've got a Bigfoot encounter that you would like to share tonight, you can call on in. We do this every Saturday night at 8 p.m. 8:30 Central Standard Time. Just a reminder about a few other things. If you do have a Bigfoot encounter and you would not like to call in live about it, you can always email me at bigfootsociety@gmail.com. If you want to get involved with the community, help out the podcast, but also get access to a extra episode every week. The Patreon hasn't even heard the one I'm about to talk about. Dovey is about an hour and a half long, and I talked to her about a life's worth of Bigfoot encounters over the years from California, from up north. I want to say it was Oregon. It's a wild episode. It's a members only episode that's coming out on Wednesday. And then tomorrow we'll be doing our end of the month hangout time, where we all hang out on a Google Hangout, talk about Bigfoot, get to know each other. And we have all sorts of other stuff, cool stuff that we do. We have a watch party once a month. We've been watching through Survivor Man Bigfoot, but patreon.com/the Bigfoot Society. Also, if you just want to watch the extra episodes and not really get too involved, you can become a YouTube channel member. And I appreciate that as well. Then you get access to extra emojis. You just have to hit the join button. Either way, I really appreciate you guys helping out. We are on the road to going full time. Mr. David, I appreciate you, my friend. Sent $9.99 sticker. That goes directly towards helping the podcast go full time. By the end of the year is the goal. I appreciate y'all hanging out and helping. And a lot of you are helping in ways that people don't know behind the scenes. A lot of generous people. So I appreciate you all and the kind words as well. Ted said it best. There's a lot of strange things in the woods. Absolutely. Let me double check my phone here. Let's see. One last check. All right. Well, guys, I'd say it's been a rockin' Saturday night. Bobby, thank you, brother David. Absolutely. Thank you to David again for supporting the podcast. $9.99. Good stuff. Good stuff. I look forward to talking to you soon. But thank you all. Make sure that you are. David, I don't know if that was another one, but I appreciate you. I'm just going to say appreciate you again. I don't know if you just. Either way, you rock, my friend. It's been a great night, guys, and I appreciate you all being here. I'll see you next time. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Make sure if you know any friends that are into Bigfoot, give them this YouTube channel. Say, hey, check this out. This guy is talking to people, new episodes every week. He's talking to people that aren't talking to anyone else, and it's a great show. Let your friends know that. Make sure you're subscribed, hit the bell, and guys, I will see you next week. Make sure you're subscribed to Bigfoot Society on all major podcast platforms and the YouTube channel. I'll see you guys later. Appreciate you.